Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you guys are keeping well today. I'm joined by Shubham, and it has been a little while since we've done a video together, so it'd be great to catch up with you, chat about Arsenal. But first of all, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. So thank you so much for inviting. Yes, it's been a while. But yes, a lot has happened since the time we last chatted, I think. So yeah, looking forward to this podcast.
Oh, me too. I'm really excited to have you on, and obviously, I wanted to briefly touch on a bit about the United game because
Hmm.
I think we're all quite frustrated and disappointed with that, with the performance, especially. Now it's been about a day after. How do you feel about things, especially the fact we have dropped more points in Man City? The gap there is getting a little bit closer now.
Yeah, I think it's very frustrating for every Arsenal fan. I was actually chatting to one of my friends in a group chat. I mentioned there that if Arsenal cannot beat this United team at home, I don't think we actually deserve to win the league, right? Um, I know it's a harsh statement because as Arsenal fans now we are at a level where we want to win every game. Even a draw these days, I think, feels like a defeat. But the main problem of the performance which we saw on Sunday is the performance, right? We did not create anything. We were not at it. We were not hungry. Manchester United actually played really well, and the goals which they scored, I have never seen them score goals like that, right? So except an own goal for us and a Mikel Merino, corner tap in. I don't think we created much. I've not seen the United keeper tested that much, so that actually concerns me. And as we all know, it's been 3 games without a win. We are still top. We are top of the Champions League too. But yeah, definitely things to be concerned about, especially with so many games left. So yeah.
Yeah, it is so tough as well because we've
Yeah.
had many opportunities against Liverpool, against Nottingham Forest to really capitalise on these wins because luckily for us, Man City have been dropping a lot of points this season where you don't really expect them to. So I feel like it does feel again, especially to lose to this Man United team that hasn't been particularly great these past few seasons. It's quite shocking actually, isn't it? Because like you said, the creativity side of the game, it isn't good enough from us. I think we're really struggling. You can see the attack just isn't gelling at the moment, and it has been a bit of a struggle. And we are still top, obviously, but like you said, it feels like a while since we've won in the Premier League as well. I did want to ask you a bit about Odegaard, and I want to go through a few players, but with Odegaard, as he is the captain, I think it's only right to start off with him. He got taken off quite early-ish. I think it was 57 minutes, and I wasn't really surprised by that because he wasn't particularly doing anything that was going to help us. Do you worry about his performances because we know the Odegaard we've seen these past few years is amazing and he is a great player, but why do you feel like we're not seeing that right now?
So what I actually think is that in the Premier League, if we just consider the Premier League, I'm not happy with the performance of all of our attackers. I was just seeing a post there from Sky Sports today, and none of our attackers have not scored a goal for ages now, which is very very surprising. We as an Arsenal fan base, we are always used to seeing us go scoring goals, free flowing attacking football. Our problem was always the defense, but now when I go into and watch games, I always feel so secured with our back line, but the attack is absolutely not gelling. The Champions League is fine. We are scoring a lot of goals in Champions League. I don't know why. How is that happening at difficult stadiums, right? Home and away. But somehow in the Premier League, I think we are overthinking the Premier League a bit more than what we should. Many of the pundits are also, saying about talking about we have our handbrakes on when it comes to the Premier League, because that if you don't win, City is very close by, and if City lose, you have to capitalize. So I think there is an unset pressure. So yeah, Odegaard is one of those players who has not produced that much these days in this season. But overall, I don't think we can blame only him. Overall, the
Yeah.
attack has been really poor.
Yeah, I think our attackers are. I mean, not just that game, but I think in
Yeah,
general they are underperforming a bit. I mean, I think Saka is trying, but it's just not enough right now. Same with
yeah,
Trossard yesterday. I think it wasn't just one or two players. It was a lot of the players who just didn't turn up really. And I think that is what we've got to be seeing, obviously, in the Premier League because the
yeah,
game against Leeds now does feel,
yeah,
quite big. I mean, a few weeks ago, if we could have picked up more points, it wouldn't have felt so big. But again, we've got this pressure on us now. Obviously, going to that game, our next Premier League game, with the players, they'll know that they're under a lot of pressure now to win in our next Premier League game. Do
yeah.
you think the players can sort of do okay in that game under pressure? Because we know under pressure we do generally do quite struggle quite a lot when we've got to win in those big moments.
Yeah, so that is why context and perspective is very important, right? So as of now, the levels which we have reached, any defeat or dropping any point, right, as of now feels very underwhelming. We are very disappointed, but we cannot forget that we are still top of the Premier League after almost 25 games, right? So it's not that we are not playing well. We are going through a blip now, and a game like Leeds is a perfect opportunity, to get back on track. you know so I obviously they'll come with a low block, but I'm not expecting that to happen because they are currently are in a good form and they are at home. So I'm just hoping that they also attack us, and we can hit them on the counter or with our creative gameplay. But I see that game as an opportunity to get back on track, especially in the Premier League. The next game in the Champions League is almost a dead rubber. We don't need anything out of that game.
Yeah.
But I seriously think that Leeds game is a perfect opportunity because you remember in the previous fixture against Leeds, Gyökeres did score a couple of goals, right? So we have good memories against playing with Leeds. So I just hope that we crack on, we at least get a good result and a clean sheet, and then we build from there because there are a couple of important games coming up, especially with the North London derby very soon.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Obviously, we'll be away this time, so it will be
Yeah,
a different type of test. But I think we know these players can perform, and we've seen this season we have played good football at times, and we
mhm.
can be ruthless. So I do hope that we can beat Leeds and bounce back because I think if we don't get the result we need against Leeds, I think it's going to be quite tough for us. Obviously, we have a Champions League game on Wednesday. Like we said, it doesn't mean a lot really. They're
Yeah,
currently right at the bottom of the table. We're top, and we don't really. Nice to win, obviously, but we could really rotate a lot in this game.
yeah.
How would you approach this game? Because we know Leeds is probably definitely the bigger game. Would you make quite a few changes in this game?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think we should play a rotated 11 for this game. Give a couple of kids from the academy a chance to taste Champions League football. I would definitely play players like Eze, because I think he has not been treated that well. I would say because for the talent he has and the performances of Odegaard, which we are seeing on the pitch, I think Eze should start more games from now on. I think we just have to balance the captaincy and the talent in the team, and Arteta should not be afraid of using Eze a bit more because I think he can make a difference in any game. It's just that he's not getting those opportunities. I'm very surprised with the lack of game time which Eze is getting, to be really honest. But I
Mm.
would play him. I would play Martinelli. I would give Gabriel Jesus another go to get back his confidence because he played really well against Inter. Give Madueke a start. I think Rice is suspended, so maybe Norgard can come in. A couple of youngsters can come off from the bench. Give Kepa a go. So yeah, a very rotated 11 because Leeds suddenly has become a very important game for us.
Yeah, I feel like we will be keeping one eye, especially on that game at the weekend. And I'm with you. I would like to see quite a few changes. I think it would be
Yeah,
nice to see a different team and see what they can do, because like you said, there are players in this team fighting for their place. You know, like you said, Eze, Marino, even there's so many players that will want more minutes. So I'm with you. I would make quite a few changes, to be honest with you, because I think we can't really afford any injuries, especially in that game against Leeds. So yeah, obviously as
Yeah.
well with Eze. Um, do you think if Eze had a great game on Wednesday, we're going to see a bit more of him? Obviously, it's difficult because Odegaard's the captain, and I think Arteta will want him to play a lot. But I would like to see Arteta give Eze a bit more of a chance, really, because like you said, he is a great player. We've seen what he can do, but it's hard because we've not really seen him a lot, especially in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when we are winning, we don't think about Eze that much, right? Because he's also sitting on the bench for almost a lot of games for 90 minutes. But since we are winning, we don't think about Eze that much. But we have bought him to actually give him minutes and take him to the next level. He has come to Arsenal to elevate his game, you know, and he can make things happen. I think once he came on against United, he did he did play well, and he was releasing the players. Our attack looked better, though it didn't turn into goals. But I think after Eze came on, we really played better, as compared to the first half. But yes, definitely want to see him more on the pitch. I think he can do stuff which Odegaard can't, and he can make things happen. That's what we want from an impact player. I think Eze is one such player. Martinelli is one such player. So we just want them to get back into the team, and maybe improve our attack, because our attack is really struggling right now in the Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. I really do hope we will see more of Eze, because I think, like you said, he can do stuff that Odegaard can't do. I think
Yeah,
he definitely needs time to sort of settle into the team and get more regular minutes. We do see him playing the cup games, but like you said, Eze's come here to sort of raise his level, compete with other players, and can be, try to help us win things, and he's not really had that chance. So I'm hoping we're going to see him. I think it would be good to see him play against Leeds as well. So big up Sofa and Shubham. I can see them running away with this game in spite of who Arteta chooses to play. So many players need minutes. Yeah, I mean, this game, it, for going off the league Champions League table, we should really win this quite comfortably. Um,
yeah.
Obviously, we don't really know who Arteta's going to go for, but I do think we should get this win. I don't think it would affect the confidence too much if we didn't win, but I do think a lot of us are really. I think the Leeds game is the one that we're thinking about right now.
Yeah,
So yeah,
especially with Man City playing Spurs, and they usually struggle against them. So if Spurs can help us, but that's the main problem. I do not want to get into situations where I'm dependent on other clubs helping us. It's a very awkward situation to be in. You're dependent
yeah,
on their results, and then you're trying to catch up, etc. So as of now, with keeping everything in mind, we should have at least been 10 points clear at the top of the table for me, right?
yeah,
But we are at 5, which is, I think we are at 4 or 5 points, which is absolutely not a clear margin to actually be confident, right? Especially with City having such a good team. They are underperforming too, but they can come back on track very soon, especially with Gehi coming in, Semenyo. They've already got a clean sheet against Wolves. So you never know. They
yeah.
can catch up, and we just don't want that. We are a fan base who always has the PTSD of previous seasons, right? We are not a Man City wherein we can say, okay, even if we are 4 points ahead, we will just cruise through to the league. We always have the memories of previous seasons where we have been in good positions, but we have just not been able to capitalize. That's the fear of we all have, and yesterday's performance did show that. So a win against Leeds now becomes so important.
Yeah, it really does feel like a really big game. It would be nice, obviously, for this game coming up to get a comfortable win, go to Leeds in a good sort of mindset. I did want to ask you a bit about the mentality of this team, because there's no doubt we have mentally improved these past few years. With some of the games, obviously. as an example, Man City, they dropped points. I think to United, they lost to United, and then we dropped points to Forest. Do you think? I think it's hard because it's like we know we need to capitalise on that, but we're not always doing that. Do you
Yeah.
think there's a bit of a mentality problem with this team sort of under pressure? Obviously, like you said, we've been trying for this league for these past few years, and I think it would be so draining for the players, for Arteta, and for us
Yeah,
if we don't go over that line again.
absolutely. Again, I wouldn't, this season, I wouldn't question the mentality of the team that much because I think in difficult periods we have done well. There were a series of games in between wherein we were losing top players, but we still somehow managed to either get a win, get a good draw, and we were able to maintain our position at the top of the table. Right. However, when pressure hits, like now we are getting into the last phase of the season, right? Now there's a semi-final coming up, right? There is FA Cup, there's Champions League, which we have done well in, but there's Premier League. And when City is around you, I think this team always crumbles a bit. I'm not going to bash the team too much for yesterday's performance because the goals were great. United, the goals which United
Yeah.
scored. I don't think Raya saves that, or any top keeper saves those kind of goals because Dorgu's goals was right at the top corner. Cunha actually played the ball really well. It was very well placed. So Raya did try, but he couldn't save. And we have a top keeper. The only problem is the hunger and the agility and playing at home. You should play at home with confidence. A draw at Old Trafford would have been great, but you cannot lose to Man United because they are not a good team anymore. No, you can if you get at them, you beat them. We were very passive yesterday and looked like United were very much up for it. They didn't have to be up for it because they just defeated Man City over the weekend. They didn't have to win this game, but for us, this was to show everyone that we can beat the teams like United and then stretch our lead at the top. But we didn't do that. That's the most disappointing part. And as I said, we really need to learn from this. Arteta also has to think about the team a bit more because what you're saying there is actually concerning because when you are changing 4 5 players in one go, that means that you're kind of panicking during the game. You're not very sure what to do next.
Yeah, that is a good point because I know when he did that, I was
Yeah,
thinking to myself, I didn't mind it at the time because I was thinking probably the way Arteta's thinking. I was thinking we need to make changes now, and he did that. I do think he probably did panic because I think with the players that were on the pitch, I feel like nothing was changing. We did need to make changes, but again,
mhm,
it did show you that he was a bit reactionary to make 4 changes because it is a lot of changes, that isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't have minded. Eze coming on, maybe I don't mind Marino and Yokeres coming on because Marino got a goal. They're both great attacking players, but it's difficult because I think as well yesterday it's difficult for Arteta. Arteta will tell them to play a certain way. I think our biggest issue as well is just we were very sloppy yesterday. I think we just need to pass the ball forward, be more attacking. But I think we, like you said, we just have to pick ourselves up from this. We have dropped
yeah,
points a lot lately, and it's not what we should be doing. But um, I think if we can get a convincing win against Leeds, like I said, we just have to keep winning. And I do think Man City will drop points again this season. I don't think they're great this season. I think they're going through a bit of a tough time as well. Like we've gone through this blip. It just happens. But we just have to bounce back from that. I just want to big up to Storm Steel. I can all but guarantee that he will start Jesus, Odegaard, Saka, Marino, Zubimendi, Saliba, Timber, and Kepa, possibly Trossard, Square, and Martin Skelly. Yeah, I think we'll still go for a fairly strong
yeah,
lineup as well. Yeah, what do you make of that lineup for the game tomorrow? Would you be happy with on Wednesday? Would you be happy with that?
yeah. I would be okay. I mean, I would want to see Christian Nogard a bit more because I don't think he's
Yeah,
getting a chance at all, and I don't think he's that bad a player who will not get a chance against a Kairat team. So I will start off. I'll start with Kepa on goal, and then give a
Yeah.
chance to Ben White, Mosquera, Hincapie, and get maybe Miles MLS on the left, and then have a midfield of Merino, Norgard, and maybe Eze, and then at the top I will go give Madueke, Jesus, and Martinelli a go, and bring a couple of kids from the bench. That's how we need to use our bench, because our bench is, I think, one of the strongest in the league. We are not able to just use them that well. I know a couple of games earlier in the season, Martinelli came off the bench and he saved a point against City. He scored a goal against another team. We won that game, etc. But we really need to use our players a bit more.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think we've got like I think Norgard is a great player. I think he's quite
Yeah.
underrated. I think he's stepped in and done a great job when he's been asked to. But yeah, I'm not really too fussed what lineup we go for. I just obviously hope we could maybe. I think it'd be good to give Saka a rest. Players like, I mean, I wouldn't really mind seeing Odegaard and Eze play together just to see how that goes, but
Yeah.
Eze definitely has to start. But the striker situation is quite interesting. I don't know what's going on with Havertz because I think his injury is a bit more complicated than what we probably thought.
Mhm.
But with the striker situation, obviously Arteta did start Jesus, and Jesus does have a really good record in the Champions League. With the league, he probably isn't as good. Um, who would you want to see start like long term? Do you feel like Gyökeres needs a bit more time, and hopefully the goals will come for him?
I would want to see Gyökeres coming on from the bench, because I think he has got enough opportunities to start games, right? And you, since we are fans and we watch football quite regularly, you can sense how much a striker can either score a goal or impact a game. I think he is very much like a bully who wants to get at defenders and somehow get a bit of space and score a goal. I don't think he's getting that in the Premier League. The goal which he scored against Inter Milan, he's not gonna get that kind of space in a game like Leeds or Fulham, because everyone is gonna be stuck at him. They are gonna cover him. They are not gonna give him a lot of space. But Gabriel Jesus, I think, is a much better option because he's more mobile. Yes, no one performed well against United, but I think he gets into better areas and he provides more threat for us going forward than Gyökeres. I've seen a lot of Gyökeres, but I would want him to come off from the bench even against Leeds, because Gabriel Jesus, I think, is in good shape. He's sharp, and I would definitely want him to start a few games from now. Um,
Yeah, I definitely agree. Hopefully, we'll see that happen. Just give me 1 second. I just need to fix my light. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Obviously, there's a good comment here about Norgard. I think I don't know why he hasn't had as much game time. I wouldn't obviously. It'd be weird bringing him in just to go on loan. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised
And for his
if we
age,
did that.
he's not a
Yeah.
young man, right? So
Yeah, he's not really had too much game time. I think he's done
yeah,
pretty good. We've seen him play in defence at times. I think he's done a pretty good job. So yeah, hopefully we will see Norgard hopefully on Wednesday, or if not, I think we need to play him more because we've brought him in. Yeah, he's a bit older, but he's got that experience, and I think that is going to help us get over the line. Um, do you have any sort of like score predictions for the game on Wednesday?
yeah. I think we should be very comfortable. We are at home under lights. Good enough team. I think Arteta will play a good enough because he wants to go 8 on 8, right? He wants to win all 8 games. Maybe it's a record, which we don't know about. Um, and yeah, I think we should easily win 3-0 for this game. Get our confidence back up. There's a big game against Leeds coming up. There's a semi-final coming in. I think if we go into the final of the Carabao Cup, I think that's also gonna be very good for our confidence. and that many pundits, if you notice, say that if you win the Carabao Cup, it actually gives you the confidence of winning the league because you taste the flavor
Yeah.
of winning a trophy, right? And most of our teammates or most of our team do not know what's the feeling of winning a trophy with Arsenal. So that would
Yeah.
really boost our confidence. And I think we have to play either we have to play Man City, I think, right, for in the final. So um, I think all hopes on that.
Yeah, I would. I think we need that. Like, I think we need to get to a
Yeah.
final to win a final. I think, like, I mean, I know we're in a great place with the league, but there's no guarantee we're going to win that. So I feel like we need to. I would go all for that. I would. I think obviously we're currently beating Chelsea, but I think we just need to get that win done because I think as fans we need a trophy, but I think for the players, I think they're desperate for a trophy. I think Arteta definitely needs a trophy as well. So I do really hope we can win that. Um, I've seen Gyökeres in acres of space and no one passes to him, particularly when the ball comes down the right. We can see the second wants to score them himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like I said, I don't think it's just Gyökeres. I do think it's a mixture of the fact players like Saka don't pass to him when they could. I mean, there was actually a chance that I looked at yesterday with Gyökeres, and I think it was right at the end, and he went to shoot, and he could have passed himself. So I think it's just it is quite frustrating for both parts, but I do hope Gyökeres can help us, especially in that cup game. I think we need him. I need him for that. Obviously, with the game that, like you said, I think it should be quite a comfortable win from us. I'm hoping that we'll win this. Like you said, 3-0, 4-0. I think it would be good to have a convincing and comfortable win. I wanted to ask you obviously a bit about the Champions League because
Mhm.
we've been absolutely excellent in the Champions League and
Yeah.
we're first in the table. And we've actually played some really good football in the Champions League. We got to semi final last season. Even though we are competing with the league, we've got the cup competitions. Do you think this team could actually win or get to a final of the Champions League this season?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think we have a team now where we can firstly compete in all four fronts, all four trophies. And since we are competing in all four trophies, my expectation is that we win two trophies this season. Anything lesser than two might be a disappointment, but will be still okay. But it cannot be one Carabao Cup. It either has to be an FA Cup, a Premier League, or a Champions League, right? I will not go ahead and tell you that we will win the Champions League and Premier League because that is too much to ask for, especially with the form we are in, with the previous season's mindset, mentality, all of that. I would be even happy with a cup double. If you win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, I,
Yeah.
we are desperate for trophies. We really need to win something. We really need to get Arteta become a winning manager from a competing manager, right? So he needs it, the fans need it, the players need it. And once you get something, once you get onto that pedestal and get to hold that trophy, from then on you kick on. Because as you said, if we are not winning anything this season, there might be few players who might be thinking about their future because coming second or finishing second thrice a year or four times in 4 seasons actually drains you out, and they'll start thinking that okay, this is the best what we can do with Arsenal. I think we should look at other clubs to win something, which
Yeah.
we have seen earlier, right? Fabregas, Robin van Persie, Samir Nasri, most players have left, they have won. We really need to win a couple of trophies at least this season, otherwise it's not going to be a great situation next year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I would definitely take, if we couldn't win the league or the Champions League, it would be quite disappointing, but I would definitely take, an FA Cup, the
Yeah.
Carabao Cup. I think both. I think a lot of fans would be disappointed if we just won like the Carabao Cup. So I think obviously, like we said, the League, the Champions League are the ones we want to win. We dream of winning. We've not ever won the Champions League, and with the Premier League, it has been such a long time. And it's like we have worked so hard these past few years, and
Exactly.
like you said, with these players, it's like if we finish second and have a similar season, are they going to really want to stay? And I think it does take a lot out of these players mentally as well, because
Yeah.
I mean, physically, yeah, they play so much football, but I think mentally, I think
Yeah.
for us fans, it's quite draining. But for the players, I think it's difficult. I know, obviously,
Right.
some of these players have extended their deals, which is great. But there's always been one player, like Saliba, has always been that player for me where specifically him, I think to myself, I could see him leaving because
Yeah.
I just don't. I wouldn't blame it. I don't think we'd ever blame players for leaving if we didn't win anything, because they do only have one career, and he spent quite a few years here. So, yeah, I do really hope we win something. Obviously, with the Champions League, that would be absolutely incredible. I
Oh,
think people probably won't expect us to win it because we are going for the Premier League. But I'm with you. I
yeah.
think we've got to go for it all.
If we win the Champions League, I'll be there in London, in the parade, because that's gonna be massive. I think ours for Arteta, that's what we are thinking about, not winning things, but let's imagine Arteta winning something. Just imagine he has won the Premier League. He's gonna be an instant legend. He's gonna get that status. He has got a Premier League into Arsenal after 20 odd years. He's definitely going. His career is gonna be sorted after that, because he'll get a new deal at Arsenal. He'll get more money, and from then on, we might dominate the league for the next 3 4 years. But for that, he needs to win something this season.
Yeah, that I mean, it would be amazing, like the Champions League. I think
Hmm.
it's really interesting because I think if you win the league, you do get a lot of credit. But I think if
Yeah,
you win the Champions League, I think everyone recognises you a lot more.
yeah,
With I just think this team deserves it so much, and yeah, I know Saliba has definitely said about wanting to win trophies before he
definitely.
leaves. So yeah, I do think this team does deserve something big this season. Obviously, for me, the Premier would be the one I'd love to win, but I think we'd take any trophy this season. I think we desperately need it. So fingers crossed. Obviously, we've got a cup game coming up, which the thought of going to a final just excites me because it has been such a long time, and I really do hope that we get over the line this season. Obviously, Wednesday's game isn't a big game, but it's obviously nice to watch Arsenal again. But yeah, thank you for coming on my channel today. It goes so quick when we chat about Arsenal. So yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Sof. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you to everyone that has watched this show. And do make sure you like and subscribe. And I will see you all very soon.